Well, welcome everybody. This is February 25th. Yes, both sides of the mic, and we got a nice bunch of people here who are going to help me grill Thomas. He thought it was an interview. Yes. Okay. Well, Thomas, I always ask a very serious first question. Normally something like, when was the last time you went to a McDonald's drive-in? Do you have McDonald's in Sweden?
A drive-in?
Yeah.
We have McDonald's drive-in.
Okay. When was the last time you went there?
It was probably half a year ago when I drove my son home because he wanted to have McDonald's. Must be a couple of years since I was there myself.
Oh my gosh. Okay, well, we got that important thing out of the way. How long have you been calling, Thomas?
I started calling in 1987.
Wow. What led you down the path, I won't say of what, but what led you to the dark side?
My parents started square dancing in around 1980s. So and they were really enthusiastic. So I was going with them during the early years, but I would never start dancing, I said. And then my sister started dancing. And then, but then eventually I started in 1986 on the beginner's class. And then 1987 I started calling. And I've been doing that since then.
Yeah. And you call from what level to what level?
I call basic to C4.
Okay.
On a regular basis. So this weekend I had a C4 weekend in Gothenburg, Saturday, Sunday, with 2 squares.
Fantastic.
The Thursday before I had a basic to A2 dance on a Thursday evening. And the weekend before I had a challenge, a C1, C2 dance. So I do all the levels.
Fantastic. That's great. Are you married?
Yes, I'm married.
Okay. Having a son, I thought I better be careful.
I'm married and I have 3 children, 1 grandchild, and my wife have 2 children.
Very good.
So,
how old are your kids?
Oh, let's see. My daughter, the oldest one, is 30. My oldest son is 28, and my youngest son is 25. And my grandson is 4.
Oh my, yeah, that's great.
Yes.
And your wife dances, no doubt?
Yes, my wife dances also.
It's self-defense mechanism.
And when we travel we go a lot to Denmark and Germany, and then she always, more or less every weekend, travel with me.
Oh, that's nice.
Yes.
So what do you do in your downtime? What, you have hobbies other than this? I don't imagine you have time to do anything else.
I don't have any other hobbies than square dancing, but I'm working also, of course, at Volvo Cars as a project leader.
Yeah.
So the weekends I'm not square dancing. I'm usually at the work doing installation in the factory.
Oh yeah. Fantastic. So what do you do? Go ahead. Go ahead.
I don't have any other hobbies.
No.
Except for square dancing and some programming also together with that.
How long did it take? Now, do you pronounce the program Square View or SQ View?
I say SQ View.
Okay.
I don't know where Square View comes from, but I always call it SQ View.
SQ. And what does the SQ stand for then?
Square dancing.
Oh, well, there you go. That's where we get the Square View.
And the reason for that it's named Square View was that when I made the program in 19 started in 1999. It was only to show choreography. Because at that time, in the late 90s, we were not playing so much music with the computers. So I made a program to view choreography while I'm calling. But then I need to bring a full case with records and the computer. And it was yes, too much to carry.
Mhm.
So and then in the beginning of 2000, Dave Wilson was living in Sweden, and he started with his mp3 Gold, and we had a lot of discussions together at that time. And then I thought, yeah, if Dave can do it, I need to figure out to do that also. So I think in 2002 was the first version that could play music.
Hmm.
And at that time, I converted from records to just using the computer while I'm calling.
And how did you convert your records to?
All the vinyl records that I had, I recorded to the computer.
Okay,
It took some time.
I guess. Well, I'm not done yet. uh, after you get a few thousand records put in, you kind of
Yeah.
you get lazy. Uh, so, do you have any other hidden talents? Like, do you play an instrument or do
Mm,
trick riding on a horse or anything? Or
not really. I used to play tennis before square dancing.
ah,
Now, but that I stopped with when I was about 20 years ago.
ah,
But otherwise, I don't, not any talents that I know of.
no. I think you'd be the first to know.
Yeah.
uh,
I tried to play piano at one time when my parents bought a piano when I was young, but it never sounded really good.
oh, yeah, it's one of those things. It doesn't happen overnight, does it?
Oh.
Oh, um, so who did you have a mentor in learning to call, or did you just read the
When
definitions?
the first mentor I had when I started calling was Dave Taylor from Chicago.
Oh my gosh.
Yes, because I had a friend that started calling at the same time that worked for SAS, and he was in Chicago working for a couple of months, and then he met Dave,
Yeah.
and Dave came to Sweden in the beginning of the 80s and 90s and did a lot of calling. And then we were invited to go over to Dave in Chicago for 2 weeks to have just him and me to have a caller school for 2 weeks
Oh my.
in Chicago. And
Very
then
good.
after, when I've also started with challenges, have been Dave Wilson.
Hmm.
And the last couple of years, also when Ross Howell lived in Sweden.
Oh
But
yeah.
he was living in Gothenburg also. We also have a lot of contact together.
Good, 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 good callers to learn from. That's for sure.
Yes, yeah.
Let's go to the other side of the mic then, and kind of get a feel for what your wife has to put up with. Do you do the cooking?
Yes, I would do the cooking.
Okay.
My wife usually do the dishes.
Oh my. Okay.
Yes.
I'm not going to let my wife see this video. Uh,
But then, of course, I'm calling a couple of nights a week, so I'm not home that often.
yeah. So in growing up, childhood memories, do you have any particular real memory of a real exciting time in your childhood?
We did a lot of traveling together since my father was an airline pilot. So we got to travel together with him when he was working a lot
Oh,
of times, both me and my sister.
wow.
So I have one memory when we're landing in Canada to refuel the plane. Going out to the runway, he was actually taking the wrong turn. He was supposed to go right when he went left, and then turned 180 degrees with a DC-10 on the runway. Yes.
Have you ever done any flying yourself?
No, not at that time. You usually, when you start to learn to fly, you start with the Air Force, and then you went to commercial flying afterwards. and I never went into the Air Force since I at that time had some I had I don't know what it's called in English, frisedel. I got some paper that I didn't need to do the military education when I was young.
Oh my.
And then, of course, after a few years, it was not mandatory anymore to make the education. But now it's coming back again with the if we see the development in Europe the last 2 years with the war and so on, and Sweden has is more or less into NATO. But
Oh,
that is just,
you didn't have to go to school?
we used to have to go to school at that time with everybody between 17 and 18 was doing 9 months in the military.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
So what did you do in the military? What was your favorite subject in school?
I went to school. I went to engineering school for after the public school. I went to engineering school for 2 years, and then when I was 18, I started at Volvo Cars. Then I've been there for 39 years now.
Wow, that's fantastic. 39 years. What are you going to do in retirement?
I still have 7 or 8 years left.
Okay,
Well, I retire. Yes.
is that because you're so young, or because it's mandatory age, or?
I think that I will be 57 this year, and I think you can start retiring when you're 62 in Sweden, but you can also work until you are 67.
Okay.
And then, of course, depending on how early you take retirement, then depends how much money you will get from the state,
Mm-hmm.
and also how much you have paid in with your when you have been working before.
Oh yeah, yeah. What was your least favorite subject in school?
It was art, drawing, and making paintings and so on. I've never been good at drawing or handwriting or anything like that.
Okay. So in calling, do you remember what you would consider your best gig? The best dance you walked away from and said, "Wow, I really feel good."
I was hoping that I still have that one to do, but
Well, yeah, there's always one better than the last
yeah,
one. Yes.
yeah. I would say it's probably one of our club dances. Then you are really, when you have a good floor, you can do more or less whatever you want.
Yeah.
People are happy. Yeah.
Do you have one where you really bombed?
Sorry?
Do you have one where you did so poorly you thought, I don't want to ever go back there again?
No, not really. I would go back to most of the places again.
Very good. How about some embarrassing moments? Have you had some embarrassing moments or seen some on the floor?
Ooh. It's always the thing when you're calling something, you're saying something wrong, and you're the last one in the hall to get it. Everybody stand up and says no, and you don't really know why, because you think you call something else.
Yeah.
But on the other hand, with age, it doesn't bother you so much anymore. But when you were young, it was really was something else.
Yeah. Well, we won't go there about the age thing. Is there anything in particular about the dancers, and maybe more with the newer dancers, that sort of bugs you? You say, "Boy, I wish they wouldn't do that."
Yeah, the bigger thing is that we don't get so many new dancers that will not even come in and try square dancing. And when I go to work after a weekend, I still think that I've been line dancing. And I try to explain every time that when we are square dance, we are not line dancing. But the line dancers still get a lot of people, but we will not get the people in to even try when we have try square dancing.
Yeah,
That's the bigger thing. And then, of course, in Sweden, people are also getting older now. Everything is slower. They cannot really make a 64-beat figure on a singing call because they are
no.
not fast enough. You need to adapt.
What sort of speed are you using for your dancers?
What kind of?
How many beats per minute, basically, are you aiming for?
We're probably skipping one call less than we used to have.
I mean, we used to, when I started calling, we used to start somewhere around 130 to 132 beats per minute. Now I'm down to 120 to 22 beats per minute.
I think around 124, something like that. But on the other hand, I'm also happy for the people that will come out to dance, even if they are not fast.
Mm-hmm.
So it's yeah, you need to work with what you have.
Oh, yeah. So you teach beginners now?
Not for the moment, no.
No.
We try every September and sometimes in the beginning of the new year to get beginners, but this year we didn't have any.
So how many people do you get out to your club dances now?
Yeah, I have one club on Tuesday doing A1, A2. There we have a little bit more than 2 squares.
Okay.
And I have 1 square, and that is the club that it's a club caller that I've been part of for 40 years. And then we have one club on Wednesdays that have 3 or 4 squares of A2 and 1 square of Mainstream Plus. And then we have our challenge club on Thursdays that have 2 squares doing C1, C2. And then there are a few other clubs around the Gothenburg area where I also call regular. But they usually have 2, 3 squares.
Mm-hmm. Do you think the newer dancers, just feel like it's too much to learn? Too fast or too hard?
Both, because I also had before the pandemic, we tried a weekend to have a crash course and try to learn them really a lot during one weekend to get them into the club. And for the people like my oldest son was there, and he thought that was great with the crash course because he could learn that much during the weekend.
Yeah.
But of course, we also have people that are starting when they are in their 80s, and for them it's not the right way of learning. So I think we need to do it in different way for different people nowadays.
Yeah.
In the old days, we always had a beginner class starting in September, ending in May, and start a new one in September. And now I think we need to see when we have people that want to dance, we need to do something for them as soon as possible, or we will lose them.
Have you done any Zoom calling?
I did some Zoom calling during the pandemic, but not anymore.
No.
We had a C3A group that met every other week. That was really different with Zoom calling.
Oh, yeah. What method do you use for keeping track of the dancers?
A site call, of course. Then I do a lot of reading also.
Oh, yeah, for challenge especially, yeah.
And also for the lower levels. And I prepare a lot of material. I would read in at all levels, but it will be less on the lower levels.
Mm-hmm.
But I write everything that I want to remember, I will write down, because otherwise I will, of course, forget it.
Yeah.
So I had a A2 weekend 2 weeks ago, and there I did a lot of reading and also a lot of site calling.
Mm-hmm. And have you figured out, for instance, how much time does it take you to write, say, a tip, and how many sequences do you aim for in a tip?
I would say it take if I go for a weekend, it will take me 4 weeks to prepare a good weekend. If it's then a challenge
Yeah.
weekend.
Yeah.
For the A2 weekend, I started 2 weeks before to start preparing.
Hmm.
And depending on how many days during the weeks then that I'm not calling, that I have time to sit down and write. But
Yeah.
then, so for this year, I've been calling all weekends except for 2, I think. And then I've been preparing all for 2 months.
Okay. Mel has Mel has asked, when you read, do you write out the entire sequence? Oops. A second, I gotta go over there.
Yeah, so I will write out exactly the words that I want to say when I'm reading it. So I will
Okay.
put in everything, including helper words, if I want to use helper words. And I will then put down notes in brackets for the things that if I want to put down an end information or some information that I should not read. But I will
Hmm.
write the sequence, then go through the sequence, say, is this the words I want to use? Since also most of the time I call for people that are not English speaking.
Hmm.
I need to change some words.
Do you have a shorthand then for your
No,
choreography?
no, I write down everything exactly, no shorthand at all.
Well,
I would do the sequence in SD, import it to SQView, edit the sequence in exactly the way I want to call it, and then I
okay.
save it.
Yeah. That's a lot of work.
Yes,
And
but
it's
on the other hand, you need to enjoy the work before the weekend also, and think that is fun. Otherwise,
oh
it will
yeah.
not be good.
What and do you when you're writing it? Do you use the computer to write it, or are you
I
pushing
use
checkers?
SD. I use SD, and then some parts I do with checkers, that asymmetric sequences and so on. And then at the same time, when I go to work and from work, I will listen to dance in the car to
Oh
get
yeah,
some ideas at the same time.
super.
So
Okay. Let's go off of that topic for a little bit and go into your favorites. What's your favorite color?
blue,
Good. It's my favorite color. Food.
pancakes.
Pancakes, really? Oh wow. Okay.
Yes, I love pancakes.
So
And
like,
every time my grandson comes here, we make pancakes together.
yes. And
Yes,
what's the secret? What?
not so much for him as for me.
And what's the secret to making a good pancake?
You put some vanilla sugar in it.
Oh, okay. I put some carbonation like
Yes.
7 Up or something like
And
that.
but also I think the Swedish pancakes are a little bit different compared to American. Ours is very thin. I think the American is a little bit thick.
Oh, okay. Well, all we know about Swedish pancakes is what we get at IHOP, International House of Pancakes, right?
Yes, yeah. I think we got some comments online there that I misinterpreted the question. What's the favorite color or favorite caller?
Yeah, 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 right. Do you have a favorite caller?
Yeah, it's Dave Taylor and Dave Wilson.
Okay,
Yes.
yeah. The only thing I remember, well, I remember a lot from Dave Taylor, but the one thing that comes to mind is the patter part where he has you promenading and he says, promenade. Um, oh, what does he say? He says, the good girls walk and the
The
bad girls
good, right. Come on,
ride.
bad girls, my car's outside.
Yeah, yeah. I don't use that anymore. Somebody didn't like that phrase, so I thought, okay, I can lose it.
Dave was really a funny guy.
Yeah, yeah, it certainly was. Um, Favorite drink?
It would be beer.
Ah, okay. Favorite movie? All right.
Star Wars.
Oh, really? Yeah, good.
Yes.
Um, do you have a favorite car?
A Volvo, of course.
A Volvo. Oh man, you can take the country out of. No, you can't take the country
Oh,
out of it, boy.
oh.
Very good. Motorcycles?
No, I've never rode a motorcycle, I think.
Oh, how about boats? Sailboat, motorboat.
It won't be a motorboat in that case, but I don't go on. I don't really like small boats.
Oh, okay.
Uh,
You
it's
like the
not.
cruises?
We have not been to a cruise, but we actually start talking about it because we have some friends that always go on cruises.
Oh, yeah.
We really need to have a vacation, but it's too much square dancing always. It's
Oh,
hard
yeah.
to find some time to take vacation.
Yeah. Yeah. That's the problem when you start getting busy. It's
Yeah.
finding that time to take a real break. Like Brian had said, he went to Germany a week ahead of time. When I was traveling and everything, it was just date after date after date. So, the phrase of, I've, I've been everywhere, but I've seen nothing,
Yeah.
except the inside of a square dance hall. So it's good to, schedule some time away,
Yes.
for sure. How about pets? Dog or
We,
cats?
we have a cat living with us that doesn't hear. So,
Are
so,
you?
so, so, so the name of the cat is Scream because
Oh, jeez.
he scream a lot because he cannot hear himself.
Oh, my.
So, but it's an indoor cat. So
Yeah.
he never goes out because he cannot deal with the traffic.
Mm. Are you sure that the cat is living with you or you're living with the cat?
Uh,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
it takes a lot of space, the cat.
Is it a big cat?
No, it just
No?
takes a lot of space.
Okay. All right. Well, we've covered a lot of the favorites, and some of the folks that are online here can ask more questions a little later. I'll move on to the have you ever category. And some of them I can right away check off. You've never ridden a motorcycle, eh?
No,
No. Well, you've flown a lot of planes. Have you ever jumped out of one?
no. My
I didn't
father
think.
always said you should never jump out of an aircraft that is working.
That's a good thought.
Yeah, yes,
I never thought of jumping out. No.
no,
And scuba diving,
no,
snorkeling, no.
no, no.
Okay. Um, horse riding,
I've done it, but not that much.
not not something you're going to like have a square dance on horses thing, eh?
I've not started with it in this age.
No.
When I grew up, my sister used to have horses when I grew up.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Um, did you ever wish you were taller or shorter?
Neither.
Neither.
I'm
Okay.
I'm 187 centimeters, so I'm tall enough for the most things. I don't know
Okay.
how that translates in foot and inches, and
Me neither. I don't really know what it means in metric.
yeah.
Um, that's got to be around 6 feet? Somebody out there know conversion fast?
183 is 6 feet.
6 feet.
So I'm a little
Okay.
bit more than 6 feet then.
I didn't want to make Thomas stand up. uh, so, in your opinion, what is the most important thing as a caller? What sort of characteristic or trait or skill?
Uh, you need to have a good communication with the dancers because they are your customers. They are the one that need to be happy afterwards. And you need to enjoy it, because otherwise you will not have good communication.
That's for sure. Yeah.
Yes.
Um,
And you cannot get upset on people that is going the wrong way all the time.
No.
And that will happen.
All the time.
Yes. You should be happy for the people that are coming.
Yeah. Very good. So how would you describe yourself in one word?
In one word, or
Yeah.
I would say I'm very calm. I will never get upset. I'm really stable in that way.
That's great.
I know when I'm a little bit worried how other people are driving their car in the traffic, then I know that I'm stressed. But I
Yes.
should not worry about those things.
So do you consider yourself an introvert or an extrovert?
A little bit of both. Depends a little bit on the situation. Depending on what people I have around me.
Mhm.
Yeah.
If you could have a superpower, what would it be?
Yeah, it would be good to be able to fly by
Good.
yourself.
Yep. No airplane.
Or without a plane.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Have you had dreams like that?
No, not that I can remember.
I feel like the psychologist now. Tell me about these dreams.
I thought this was another show.
Yeah, right. If you could have coffee with any historical figure from past or present, who would you like to do that with?
Oh, and there are things I never thought of.
Is there anybody in history
Yeah.
like Isaac Newton or?
Newton would be good. Da Vinci would be another one.
Who?
Leonardo da Vinci,
Oh, yes, yes.
Albert Einstein, of course. Yeah.
So, have you had any plans of going to places like Mars?
No plans.
No.
They have not. When they started square dancing on March, I will go there.
Yeah. So far, nobody's asked you yet. Okay.
No.
If you could live anywhere in the world, where would it be?
It would be nice to live in a place that is warm. But on the other hand, I want to live close to my family also.
Oh, yeah.
So I would say it's where I have the family.
Yeah.
And that is more or less around the area where I'm staying. I think it's the longest one. The longest drive is to my daughter, and that is around 15 minutes.
Oh, wow.
All the other children were closer.
Well, how long does it take you to get from one side of Sweden to the other?
Depending if you go north, south, or east, west. If I go from Gothenburg to Stockholm, it's a 4.5 hour drive. If I will go from Malmö until the northern part of Sweden, it's, I would say, 3 days.
Oh, my. Okay.
Yeah, it's really north to south is really a long way.
So is there temperature-wise, is there a nice place in Sweden that you could go to?
No.
No.
It's really bad climate in Sweden, especially in Gothenburg, because it's always raining.
Oh,
And
well, let me get that right.
And we have the rain and we have the wind. So it's
Oh,
really
yeah.
bad. The climate is not the best.
And how about
We had a
daylight
lot-
hour?
Sorry?
What about daylight time?
Daylight is good, because when we come to the summer, we have a lot of daylight. We have less during the winter.
Yeah.
But during the summer, it's more or less daylight until 10, 11 o'clock in the evening.
Well, that's
Then
cool.
it's up in the morning again.
Are there any myths to calling that you'd like to dispel?
I think most of it is just hard work. It takes time to learn everything, and you need to practice and practice. It's nobody can just come in and do it without a lot of practicing before.
That's why we get the big bucks. Speaking of that, what do you charge your dancers normally?
If you go to a club dance on a normal week evening, they will pay 50 Swedish crowns, and that will be around $5, I think, for a normal club evening.
Okay.
For a weekend, it depends on how much you need to pay for the hall and so on.
Hmm.
But the last weekend they paid $15 for a Saturday, 7 hours, and $13 for 5 hours on the Sunday.
Okay. And how many records? How many? Yeah, I'm going to say it that way. How many records do you buy a month?
I buy a lot of music. Now, I not bought so much this year because I've not seen so much. But if I look at last year, I will buy 5, 6, 7 records each month, and then some packages also. So I buy a lot of music.
What's one of your favorite labels?
Rhythm, ESP, Royal, Crest.
Chic.
It's a lot of good music coming out.
And what kind do you prefer?
I prefer, I think, music from the 80s that I recognize.
Like,
And also that is music that is easy for me to call to.
mm-hmm. You like the more traditional sounds of banjos and fiddles and whatnot?
Not so much anymore. Now
No.
it's more modern. If I say music from the 80s are modern, but it's not so much fiddles and banjos anymore in the music that I buy.
No, that's true.
I like the hoedowns from ESP. I buy a lot of those.
Okay. What do you do about dancers that just don't catch on? How do you handle that? Do you?
The first thing would be to offer them some extra training, maybe get them to go to another club also, so they will have more hours on the floor. And then depending on how does it affect the rest of the group?
Mm.
The problem if you have some people that if they don't leave, we will go somewhere else instead. And when you have that dilemma.
Mm.
But if we take away the one that are worst, then there will be somebody else that is the worst. And you cannot continue to take away the worst all the time. You need to find another way of taking care of it. But some extra training would be the first thing.
Okay. How would your family describe you?
They would describe me also som very calm. I would hopefully that I'll be there and do what I promised to do.
Mm-hmm.
I would fix the things that need to be fixed and what I promised to fix. And I'm usually away somewhere calling.
Mm-hmm. Were you there when was it your daughter that had your grandchild or your
Yes.
son? Okay. Were you there when she had the baby or?
No, because you were not allowed to be at the hospital at that time because it was during the pandemic.
Oh.
So not even the father was allowed to be there.
Oh my gosh. That's kind of tough.
Yeah.
So do you have any particular goals going forward?
No, not so many goals that we have. We're starting up some new weekends with with A2, maybe have some weekends for lower levels, same as we have on the challenge levels, because we see that they will enjoy that also. When we started square dance in Sweden, it was all basic 18 plus. People were traveling all weekends going to dances, but nowadays there are not so many for the low level dancers to go to. There's a lot of challenge weekends you can travel to, but not so many low levels. To get some more of those started.
That's interesting. So have you traveled much outside of Sweden? And
I go regular to Denmark, to Germany, a couple of times to England. I've been in the US, but that was before the children. It's most around the neighboring countries. Norway, been to a couple of times. I was in Poland last summer. Yeah, the Netherlands. Yeah.
Oh yeah. So you get around. That's good. So what do you like most about calling?
I like to challenge people, to see, make them do things that they didn't think they've not seen before, or they didn't think they could do. Do something that is that they've not. If there's something that they've not seen before, I would be happy. They can still do it, but it's unusual for them to be different.
You have any particular challenge concepts that you favor?
Yeah, I like initially and finally. For instance, on C3.
Yeah.
And of course, phantoms in general. I like also. But I think that all different level has their charm, so to say. If you have a good floor, it doesn't matter which level you're calling, it will be fun. And I like using what is on the level that I'm calling now, because then a couple of days I will call another level, then I use that stuff.
Okay. So thinking that you won't last any better than the rest of us, what would be your eulogy? Or what would you put on your tombstone?
One thing that I never thought about today either.
No.
Then I would have, I did it my way.
I like that one. I had another caller on and said, his phrase was, "What could go wrong?"
Yes. Nobody remember a coward.
Excellent. Let's open it up to the folks that are watching here. Got some questions that I'd like to listen.
Thomas, you told us how you got started writing SQ View. How does it feel to be the author of something that is so widely used by so many people around the world?
Yeah, it feels good. And it's really fun to get in contact with so many calls from different parts of the world. That's yeah. And everywhere when I go to a bigger dance, I will meet somebody that have questions on how to do this, or can we implement this in the program, and so on. So it's a door opener when you meet other people, other callers.
Well, even though I don't use SquareView because I use Max, but I have used it, and I want to thank you on behalf of everybody.
Thank you.
Not so much a question, but a comment.
Sure.
I used to do a lot of online sessions, and we were actually talking about Square View just the other day. And one of the biggest things that they like about it compared to the other programs is you've got it set up. It's so flexible that you can use a Word document, you can use an HTML document, you can set up your tabs, you have individual tabs to put your choreography at levels, or you can just edit right on the screen for programming for a night, clean, edit, save, everything else. It's got so many different ways that you can do the compatibility to structure it for yourself. And there's not a lot of programs out that are flexible like that. Most of them are, this is how you do it. That's it. Yours,
Yeah.
It's tailored to each caller, each person, how they want to deal with it.
Yeah.
So
That's
very, very nicely
Yeah,
done.
and that has to do as soon as I want to do it one way, you get the question, can we do it this way instead? And then of course, then it's fun to solve the problem.
How long, excuse me, how long did it take you to actually create that program?
The last couple of years, I've not done so much programming as I did in the beginning, but then until the pandemic, I was frequently updates. I would say, in the longer time ago, it was more hours than I have these days. Now I would wait until I have some problems or new features, and then I will make an update, and then maybe once or twice a year.
I have a question.
Oh, go ahead, Carrie.
I think I've heard, though I don't necessarily understand the terminology, that Square View and the other programs like that, you can set them so that you can set them to loop so that you start from the beginning, but when it gets to 20 seconds from the end, it goes back to 20 seconds to the beginning and keeps repeating that. Is that true?
That's true, yes, an auto loop.
Okay, because that would be great for Scottish and English country dancers where the music comes only enough to do the dance 5 times and they want to do it 15 times. But I've kind of suggested this to English country dance callers, but I have not pushed it because I wasn't sure that was true.
I think there's also a feature that you can decide how many times that you should loop before it plays out.
That would even be better. That would be amazing.
Yes.
And it shows the text on next to it, right? Too correct, and that would also help them too.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Hannah, did you have a question, Hannah?
Yes, well, I didn't have a question, just a comment, if I may act. I just wanted to say that Thomas is my go-to guy when I have questions about calls and need to ask how to solve my problems. And he's always answering very quickly, always very kind and good guy. So for that, I thank you in front of the whole world.
Thank you, Hannah.
Yes, we have the whole world here. Ed, go ahead.
Yeah, so Thomas, I was thinking about getting Square View up and running after all these years. I haven't ever delved into it because I use SD writing program and SD player from Takeuchi that has the looped songs in it. You know, I loop it, but it's in the songs. Can I import that file of looped music into Square View so I don't have to re-loop everything from the very beginning?
Probably not, but it can be developed. If you contact me, I will see what format you have it in and see what we can do.
Okay, I'll write you an email to see about
Yes,
that.
yeah.
Yep, thank you.
It cannot be that hard.
Yeah, well, maybe for you, but
Famous
Yes.
last words, Thomas. Famous
Yeah,
last
right.
words.
yeah,
All right.
yeah.
I have a hard enough time just pushing the space bar to get things going here. Yeah. Okay. The other comments, recollections, advances? Don, sure. Go ahead.
I just made an observation at the beginning of this. Thomas, you said you preferred SQ view and didn't know where Square View came from.
Yes.
I don't think anybody was listening. All the comments we've heard now talk about it as Square View. They should listen to you. SQ view is
Yes,
preferred.
yeah. I think I more or less have given up that part since I was the only one in the world calling it SQView.
Yeah.
What it's worth, Thomas, you're not. There's a few people that called it SQ View in a meeting the other day, and a couple of other callers, and these are experienced callers, asked, "Oh, is that a new program? I haven't got that one."
Yeah, right.
Square View. So, sorry about jumping in on you there, Holly.
That's okay. I just wanted to know if we could get Thomas's email address, because I do have a question that I'm having a problem with SquareView turning off and on right in the middle of my program, right when I'm
Yes.
calling. So email address, or you can answer the question. I don't know if you are.
I think if you have it's easier if you send me an email with the question.
Yeah. What's the email address is what I was trying to get.
Yes, I will see if I can write it in the chat.
Okay.
The rest of us want to know, what are you having a problem with?
Well, I'd be doing a tip, and then I pause it for a few minutes for their break. Then I go to turn it back on and nothing happens. No music, the bar doesn't move. So I have to completely shut the program down and restart it. And this just started happening. I've been using it probably since about 2017.
Is Windows going down in a standby?
It's still on. I mean, everything's still going, and it looks like it's going to play with the music bar where it goes the red, the green. That's still moving, but no sound. And I've tried different patch. I've even tried a different mixer. I have a Hilton, and I've tried a different Hilton. I've tried cables, everything, and can't figure it out.
Yeah.
Turn it on and turn it off. Turn it off and turn it on. There you go. Yeah.
That's what I have to do for each tip. I have to turn it on.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. So
well, if you buy enough computers. Yeah.
Yes, I do use it on a different computer, and I downloaded the newer version, and I haven't had any problems. So I'm wondering, do I need to?
There is an option. You can select the output device, so you can start checking what, and you have probably, depending on the computer, you have a lot of different devices where you can select to play your music out on the program.
Right. Okay. On SquareView itself.
Yes.
Oh.
So, but if you send me a mail, I will send you where you can find it.
Okay. Good. Thank you.
Very good. I'm sure that there's been new programs on how to use the program, but like I watched a couple of Caller Lab, and they got into tech talk, and I'm not a techie on computers, so as soon as they start going into the different languages, they lose me. Perhaps we could get Thomas on sometime to do a thing where we can ask our questions, and because I downloaded a manual of sorts, and I'm still as ignorant as I was before getting that. My mind works very simply. It's things are either black or white. Push
So
push the button or
in
don't.
AA manual, is that an Alcoholics Anonymous manual?
That's a good idea. That's only for us Canadians, though, AA.
Nice. But that would be EH, EH.
See, you get so detailed. Is that an asymmetrical answer? I'm an American, don't forget.
Yeah, I'm like you, Joe. It takes a little while to figure it all out. And if you haven't been shown the right way to do it, it makes it pretty hard. And one thing that I'm finding, for some unknown reason, I went into lyrics to have a look. Okay, what does that do? And now lyrics keeps on coming up, even though there isn't any lyrics there. And I have to keep on canceling it out. I don't know how to get rid of it. So I'm a bit dumb as well.
Yeah, I think send me a mail and we will fix that.
Good, thank you.
Yes.
Thank you.
All right. Well, it's good to know a little bit more about Thomas now, and
Yeah.
it's great to put a face to the name and the creator. And like Don says, we have a lot to be thankful to Thomas for with the program. Notice I didn't yield to either Square View or SQ View. We'll call it the program now. It's great to have these things to use. They're fantastic tools. Where would we be without them today? Even on Zoom, doing all these different programs. And if anybody has any suggestions of other callers that you'd like to see me interview, let me know. Next week is Barry Wanson from Australia. And it's nice that he's going to be able to join us just because of the hour. He's going to have to be up really early in the morning.
That's gonna be really good. Can I put a plug in for Barry? Let's all get on air for Barry. And
Yes.
He's really good. Yeah.
Yeah.
He talks a lot, so you might have a difficulty there, Joe.
No, that's good. I like it when the callers talk. It's tough when you're interviewing someone and they say, "Yep, nope, yep." and Thomas is very good. Thomas gave me some really good answers there. It's been great having y'all join in, and this will be put up to YouTube eventually. Yeah. So, anybody else have anything else?
No.
Not for now.
I wanted to thank Eva for reminding us because we thought it was next weekend. Thank you, Eva.
I was waiting for you.
Yeah, thanks.
Thomas, do you like to call with other callers at festivals and that?
Yes, yeah, I enjoy calling with other callers. I don't get to do it that much anymore since most of the weekends are smaller nowadays.
Oh yeah,
We usually have one caller, but I enjoyed.
yeah.
Done a few weekends together with Todd
Oh yeah,
over the years, yes.
very good.
Hey, Thomas.
Thomas first.
Yeah.
And my question was, we were Holly and Lars and Hannah were all at the same class, and we would all pick our computer up and we'd have Scorpio ready. We plug it in and it wouldn't work, so we had to shut it down and bring it back up. Is that a common problem with Scorpio, or just I'm doing something wrong?
It can be a problem when Windows goes down. If you close your computer with Windows work started and then you open again, it's not always that the communication with SQ with Windows will work in a good way.
Okay, it's Windows 10. It's not 11. I know people have had problems with 11.
Yeah, but I've not heard about so many problems with Windows 11. But
Okay.
closing the computers, open it again with SQ view started, then it's sometimes it will not have any sound. Then you need to restart the program again.
Okay. So it's common. Okay, thank you.
Yes, I will never close the lid on my computer when it's without shutting it down properly. I don't trust that at all.
Okay. Thank you.
I guess I'm lucky then, because I've been using it since I don't know when, and I've not had those problems. The problem is me controlling it, but that's okay.
Well, and at some point the operating system changed the way that it handles the primary sound source,
Yes.
So sometimes if you plug in the headphone jack, it changes what it thinks is the primary sound source, but the application, when it opened up, it thinks it's using the built-in speakers with the laptop, and it doesn't switch to the new primary sound source.
Oh.
Sometimes.
In the new version, you can get the select output device window that is open default when you start the program.
Mm-hmm.
So you can always select I have that on my computer because I have also a problem with the window switching. And
Yeah.
then I have an external sound card that is sometimes when I put into USB, the Windows will recognize it, and sometimes it will not recognize it. And so I made a change so I can have the window opened every time I start SQView. Then I select the correct output.
Yeah, I guess the problem is when people walk up to the stage and they plug it in right there on the stage.
Yeah.
That's when they have the issue, and
Yes.
then they're confused and momentarily trying to figure out how to get the thing working. But I believe that's more of a Windows problem than it is an
Yes,
application
yeah.
problem.
I have less problems since I use an external sound card, a USB sound card, always. Then it's recognized that one, and I can select that. When I should have the default output on the computer, I get a lot of problems.
Right. Yeah, that was another recommendation that I gave people at ColorLab when doing that talk is to have external USB sound cards and have multiples of them in your bag just in case, because if something goes wrong, you need something to back up your sound.
Yes, and I think they're rather cheap also to buy.
Oh yeah.
They're cheap enough, but you know, I've had a number of them that haven't worked very well. The one I'm using now, actually, a lot of times it's what the connection is into it. I like this one because it's a stereo, one wire going into it, and then it plugs into the computer. That way, when they have the little ports for headphone and speaker, because of this part here being too big, they don't always fit. So does anybody have a suggestion of, you know, what names, brands? This one is called a Sound Blaster, for whatever that's worth. I don't remember where I got it either.
Well, a Sound Blaster will give you very good quality sound. However, some of the cheaper ones that are, you know, only $10 or $13 each will give you the equivalent level of sound quality, considering that a lot of the bass recordings that we have for square dancing are mono recordings from a turntable. So they're not exactly quality recordings in the first place. So you don't need to have the best sound quality. Most of the USB sound cards that you can get from Amazon will give you all the sound that you need.
I've used Sound Blaster. I've got 2 of them that I've used, and I've never had a problem until, like I said, just recently with that not playing. And I've used a different card, the Sound Blaster, the external card, and still it does it. So I don't know what's wrong.
Well, I guess you got to spend the money and buy something much more expensive.
I even tried a new computer, and it doesn't do it on the new computer. It just does it on the other computer. So maybe it's the computer, but I use the same patch cord in Sound Blaster 3 is what I use the sound card, and it doesn't do it on the new computer. It just does it on the new. I have 2, one's new and one's a little newer. So I don't know what's going on.
So in your area, Holly, person you need to talk to, Lawrence Johnstone.
He doesn't use SquareView though.
But he's a computer expert.
Okay, yeah.
And he's quite good at what he does. I'm pretty sure he'd be able to figure it out.
I'll ask him the computer part then, maybe, because I've asked him about SQView, and he says, well, I don't really use it, but he knows about it and everything. But I know he knows a lot about computers. That's his job.
Correct.
Okay.
That's
Alrighty,
right. See,
gang.
that's another person you can talk to, Joe. You can
Yeah.
talk to Lawrence.
Okay.
Mhm.
Bye.
I think he's amazing.
He is, yeah.
Bye, Todd.
All right. See you guys.
Bye.
Yeah. Bye-bye. Alrighty. I've got to go. I got to pick up a
Yeah, I
badges.
gotta go feed a kid.
He's
Bye.
he's lying. He doesn't have any kids. Alrighty.
Thank you.
Well, thanks.
Thank you,
Thanks.
everybody.
Yes. Thank you, Thomas.
Thank you. Thank you so much. It was
Bye.
fun. Yes.
Bye,
Bye
everybody.
bye.
Take care all.
Take care.
Bye.